an event may trigger these reactions, such as ending a relationship, stress, problems on the job, at home, or in friendships. Times of change can trigger these reactions. So can physical illness. Sometimes these feelings return for no reason. A return to the old feelings doesn't mean we're back to square one in our recovery. They do not mean we failed at recovery. They do not mean we're in for a long, painful session of feeling badly. They just are there. They just are there. The solution is the same, practicing the basics. Some of the basics are loving and trusting ourselves, detachment, dealing with feelings, giving and receiving support in recovery community, using our affirmations, and having fun. Another basic is working the steps. Often working the steps is how we become enabled and empowered to practice the other basics, such as detachment and self-love. I pray for knowledge of your will for me only. We surrender to God's will. We stop trying to control, and we settle for a life that is manageable. We trust our higher power's will for us, that it's Page 243. In the 8th step, we make a list of all people we have harmed, and we allow ourselves to experience a healing attitude toward them. It is an attitude of love. We do not, in this step, dash madly about, begin yelling, sorry. We make our list not to feel guilty, but to facilitate healing. Before we actually make amends or begin to consider appropriate amends, we allow ourselves to change our attitude. That is where healing begins, within us. It can change the energy. It can change the dynamics. It can begin the process before we ever open our mouths and say sorry. It opens the door to love. It opens the door to the energy of love and healing. It enables us to release negative feelings and energy and opens the door to positive feelings and energy. The energy can be felt around the world, and it starts inside of us. How often have we, after we have been hurt, wished that the person would simply recognize our pain and say, I'm sorry? How often have we wished that that person would simply see us, hear us, and turn the energy of love our way? How often have we longed for at least a change of heart, a small dose of reconciliation in relationships tainted by unfinished business and bad feelings? Often. Others do too. It is no secret. The energy of healing begins with us. Our willingness to make amends may or may not benefit the other person. He or she or they may not be willing to put matters to rest, but we become healed. We become capable of love. Today I will work on a change of heart. If hard-heartedness, defensiveness, guilt, or bitterness are present, I will become willing to let go of those feelings and have them replaced by the healing energy of love. Trusting ourselves in September 2022 and September 21, letting go of urgency. Trusting ourselves, many of us believe that heeding the words of God are meant following rigid rules, an instruction booklet for life. Many of us now believe differently. The rigid rules, the endless instructions, the extortion are not the words our higher power whispers. The words of God are often those still, small words we call intuition or instinct, leading and guiding us forward. We are free to be who we are, to listen and to trust ourselves. We are words whispered to and through each of us. Today, help me, God, let go of shame-based, rigid rules. I will choose the freedom of loving, listening, and trusting, and into practicing tolerance. Tolerate our quirks, our feelings, our reactions, our peculiarities, our humanness. Tolerate our ups and downs, our resistance to change, our struggling and sometimes awkward nature. Tolerate our fears, our mistakes, our natural tendency to duck from problems and pain. Tolerate our hesitancy to get close, expose ourselves, be vulnerable. Tolerate our need to occasionally feel superior, to sometimes feel ashamed, and occasionally share love as an equal. Tolerate the way we progress, a few steps forward and a couple back. Tolerate our instinctive desire to control, and how we reluctantly learn to practice detachment. Tolerate the way we say we want to love and then sometimes push others away. Tolerate our tendency to get obsessive, forget to trust God and occasionally get stuck. Practice healthy, loving tolerance of ourselves. Said one man, when we do, we'll learn tolerance for others. Then take it one step further. Learn that all the humanness we're tolerating is what makes ourselves and others beautiful. Today, I will be tolerant of myself. From that, I will learn appropriate tolerance of others.